The night was still, with only the soft murmur of the wind brushing through the trees. Gentle. The stars above flickered like tiny lanterns in the vast, quiet sky. Anne Shirley sat by a tranquil lake, her gaze lost in the reflection of the shimmering stars on the water's surface. Calm. The world around her was hushed, as if the night itself was holding its breath, waiting for something important to unfold. Peaceful. The only sound was the gentle rustling of the leaves, the whispers of nature, and the soft ripples in the water. Far from the bustling town, Anne sat alone, her thoughts drifting like the breeze, melancholic. With her legs crossed, her hands resting in her lap, she stared up at the sky, wondering about the mysteries that lay beyond the stars. Curious. There was something about the quiet of the night that made her feel as though she wasn't quite herself, like a small part of her was missing. Pensive. Maybe it was the stillness, or maybe it was the deep sense of longing she couldn't quite name. Softly reflective, Anne had always been the dreamer, the one with her head in the clouds, wondering about things others often didn't think about. Thoughtful. But tonight, it felt different. There was a soft ache in her chest, an unfamiliar restlessness, as though she was searching for something she didn't even know how to find. Slightly confused, searching. And so she sat there, letting the night's calm wash over her, waiting for the answer to come. Gentle anticipation, Anne felt both lost and hopeful, a quiet curiosity stirring deep inside her. Confused, hopeful. It was a feeling she couldn't shake, one that beckoned her to explore the world within and around her, reflective, contemplative. There was something about the quiet night that felt like an invitation, an unspoken promise that something meaningful was about to unfold. Expectant. The night embraced her in its cool, soothing arms, as if gently encouraging her to look deeper, to seek something that lay just beyond her grasp. Reassuring, comforting. It was a time for reflection, a time for answers, a time for Anne to discover something new about herself and the world she lived in. Calm, meditative. One night, Anne Shirley decided to walk under the soft glow of the moonlight. She wasn't searching for something, nor did she expect to find an answer. She was simply trying to understand something deep inside her. The cool night air wrapped around her, and with each step, she felt a sense of stillness. A quiet longing echoed within her heart. As the soft breeze whispered through the trees, Anne's mind wandered. Her thoughts felt distant, yet strangely close, like they were beckoning her to listen, to pause. She took a slow breath, feeling the calmness of the night seep into her soul. Each exhale released a little more of her confusion, a little more of the weight she carried within. As Anne walked, her mind began to unravel, slowly, like a thread being pulled from her heart. She wondered aloud, "Why does it feel so quiet? Yet I feel like I'm lost in this vast world." The stillness of the night seemed to respond, not in words, but in the subtle shift of the wind, the way the stars above flickered with an almost knowing light. She paused, her eyes scanning the endless sky. It was a peaceful kind of loneliness, the kind that wasn't meant to be solved, only understood. Anne closed her eyes for a moment, allowing the silence to fill her with a strange sense of comfort. The world around her felt both infinite and contained in the soft night. And in that moment, she knew she wasn't alone. As she continued her walk, Anne's thoughts began to settle, each step carrying her deeper into reflection. The moon's light grew softer, almost as if it were listening to her unspoken questions, offering comfort with its gentle glow. Anne's steps were slow, deliberate. With each breath, she let go of the tension within her, feeling lighter with every exhale. Perhaps, Anne thought, I am not lost after all. Her heart felt at ease as she spoke to herself softly. Perhaps I am simply finding my way step by step. The quiet of the night around her felt like a mirror, reflecting back the calm she was beginning to find within herself. The stillness was no longer lonely, but a companion in her journey. Anne took another deep breath, letting the cool night air fill her lungs. The world seemed to pause with her, the trees standing still, the stars watching over her. Everything is just still, she whispered, her voice barely audible over the sound of her own footsteps. The world around her felt so vast, yet it was in this vastness that she realized she was a part of it all. She felt grounded, her thoughts settling slowly, one after another like soft ripples on a quiet pond. The night seemed endless, and yet, in this moment she realized that it was not about the destination. The journey itself, the silence, the reflections, was enough. As Anne lay down on the soft grass, her eyes slowly closed and her thoughts began to drift. The world felt peaceful, the stars above still twinkling softly, just as they always had. In the quiet, Anne felt connected to everything, the trees, the stars, the earth beneath her. Everything was part of a beautiful, silent harmony. The night was safe, and the soft sounds of the world around her were the lullaby she needed. Her breath grew slower, deeper, and her mind softened with each exhale. She was at peace, knowing that the night would always be there, ready to carry her into a world of dreams. As her thoughts slowly drifted away, Anne understood that everything was connected, just like the quiet stars above. She was part of the universe, and it was part of her. And now, little one, it's time for you to close your eyes just as Anne did. Let the quiet of the night surround you, and know that everything is peaceful, safe, and sound. The stars are watching over you, and the world is waiting for you to wake, refreshed and ready for the new day. Rest well, knowing that, like Anne, you are never truly alone. As Anne lay back, she felt the world around her slowly fading into a tranquil hush. The stars above seemed to wink down at her, their light soft and warm like a comforting embrace. She took in a deep breath, the cool night air filling her lungs, and she felt her body relax, each muscle unwinding with the rhythm of her breath. There was no rush, no need to hurry. The world would wait. The peaceful meadow where Anne had spent the evening now seemed like a distant memory, though she carried its calm within her. It was as though the quiet of the night had seeped into her soul, filling her with an undeniable peace that felt as though it had always been a part of her. She had discovered, in her reflective journey, that the quietness she had so often felt was not loneliness. It was the gentle whisper of connection to the world around her, the stars, the trees, the earth, and even the stillness of the night itself. As she lay there, looking up at the vast expanse of stars, Anne's thoughts began to drift gently, much like the soft breeze that played with the leaves around her. There was no need to search for answers anymore. The questions she had carried in her heart had quieted, as though the very universe had provided its own soft answer through the peace of the night. She felt connected, not just to the world around her, but to herself. The stars above, as constant and steady as ever, whispered their ancient stories, and Anne understood them now, not with her mind, but with her heart. The night, vast and infinite, was a reflection of her own inner world, quiet, deep, and full of endless possibilities. The world will always be here, Anne thought to herself, her mind wrapping around the comforting thought. And so will I. As the hours passed, the stars began to fade, and the sky lightened with the first hints of dawn. The meadow, which had once felt so vast and empty, now seemed to hold an entirely new beauty. The night was complete, and Anne felt as though she, too, was complete in that moment. There was nothing more to seek, no more questions to ask, for in the stillness of the night, she had found a peace that went deeper than any answer. With a final contented sigh, Anne slowly rose from the soft grass, her heart lighter than it had ever been. She took one last look at the fading stars above her, as though saying her own quiet goodbye, knowing that she would carry their peaceful whispers with her, always. As she made her way back to her home, the first rays of sunlight began to paint the sky with soft shades of pink and gold. The world around her was awakening, but Anne, now at peace with herself, knew that it was okay to take her time. She could walk through this world with the same quiet confidence she had felt in the meadow, knowing that she was never truly alone. The soft whispers of the night remained with her as she entered her cozy home, the world outside continuing on, just as it always had. But for Anne, the night had revealed something deeper. It had shown her that sometimes the quietest moments held the most profound truths. In that quiet, she had discovered herself. And so, as the sun rose higher in the sky, Anne closed her eyes for a brief moment of rest, her heart still calm, her thoughts peaceful. The world continued, but she was content in the knowledge that she was part of something much larger, much more beautiful than she had ever realized. She was a part of the endless rhythm of the universe, forever connected to the stars above, the earth below, and the quiet pulse of the night. Everything was as it should be. And now, little one, it's time for you to close your eyes and drift into a peaceful, restful sleep. The night is peaceful, the stars are quiet, and everything is at rest. Let the calmness of the world wrap around you like a soft blanket, and know that you are safe, loved, and at peace. Rest well, and remember, just like Anne Shirley, you are never truly alone. The stars are always with you, quietly watching over you as you sleep.